My wife abandoned me and our 3 kids for her affair partner. 21 years later, she knocked on our door. What we told her made her freeze in silence. Hello, Reddit I plus here. 22 years ago, my life ended and began on the same day. I was 32 then, working 10-hour days as a steelworker in Pittsburgh. I came home from a brutal double shift expecting to hear my 3 kids laughing, smell dinner on the stove, and feel the chaos of family life. Instead, silence. No footsteps, no cartoons playing on the TV. Just a folded piece of paper on the kitchen counter. It said, "I deserve to be happy. This isn't the life I wanted. Don't look for me." That was it. 7 years of marriage, gone in 8 words. Her name was Vanessa. My kids were Mason, 6, Tessa, 4, and little Caleb, just 14 months old. She didn't just walk out, she had a plan. She'd packed every bag she wanted while I was at work, dropped the kids at my mother's house with some vague story about an emergency, and caught a flight to California with a coworker named Lance, a guy who sold used boats and always smelled like cologne you could smell from across the room. I didn't even know she was gone until my mom finally reached me. I was operating heavy machinery that day and couldn't answer her first 3 calls. When I finally did, she just said she dropped the kids off and left. By the time I got home, Vanessa was already in the sky. Her family? At first shocked. Then, within a week, they were suggesting maybe I hadn't given her what she needed emotionally. I told them to go to hell and never called again. That first night was hell. Caleb screamed for his mother until he lost his voice. Tessa kept asking when Mommy would be back from her trip. Mason, old enough to know something bad had happened, just sat at the window, waiting for a car that would never come. I didn't sleep. I just held them and tried to figure out how the hell I was going to keep this ship afloat. I'd worked with steel in the dead of winter, in 105-degree heat, in dangerous conditions. But nothing prepared me for being a single dad to 3 kids under 7. But here's the thing, I don't quit, ever. I switched to the early shift, 4:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., so I could do school drop-offs and pickups. My foreman, a gruff old man named Sal, pulled me aside that first week and said, "You're not quitting. We'll make it work. Those kids need you steady." He covered for me when daycare called and never once made me feel less of a man for doing school runs. The divorce was easy. Abandonment is abandonment. She didn't contest it. She didn't even show up. I got full custody, the house, everything. No child support. I didn't want her money. I wanted her gone. The early years? Brutal. Explaining to a kindergartner why his Mother's Day card had to go to Grandma. Watching my daughter dance at her recital with no one in the mom seat. Teaching my oldest to ride a bike with tears in his eyes because Mom should be here. I never trashed Vanessa in front of them. Didn't need to. Kids notice who shows up. Dating? Forget it. My world was steel and kids. For 5 years I barely looked at another woman. Then I met Lauren. She was a nurse who treated Tessa after she broke her arm at the playground. As she wrapped the cast, Tessa, all of 10 years old, said, "You're pretty. My dad's single." I wanted the floor to open and swallow me. Lauren just laughed and said, "Let's fix this arm first." We dated for 2 years before I let her meet the kids. She didn't try to be their mother. She just was there. Mason trusted her first. Then Tessa. Caleb, who barely remembered Vanessa, bonded with her instantly. We married when Caleb was 11. Small backyard ceremony. Tessa, 13, whispered to me at the reception, "She's the mom we should have had all along." I cried like a fool. The kids thrived. Mason became a carpenter and now makes more than I ever did. Tessa's a teacher. Caleb's in his last year of engineering school. We never heard from Vanessa again. No calls, no cards, nothing. Her sister would occasionally let slip she was still in California with Lance. Eventually, she became just a name. Until last month. It was a Saturday. I was changing the oil in Lauren's car. She was in the kitchen making dinner. Doorbell rang. She answered and froze. The voice that followed was like hearing a ghost. "I'm looking for Daniel. I'm his wife, his first wife, Vanessa." I walked to the door. Time had not been kind. She looked worn down, hair dull and streaked with gray, carrying one battered suitcase. "Dan," she said, voice trembling. "I know this is unexpected." "No," I said. "Unexpected is running into someone at the grocery store. This is audacity." She started crying. "Please, I just need to talk to you. To the kids. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting your wallet at the store. You abandoned 3 children. That's a choice. Lance had left her," she explained. She'd been living in her car. She had nowhere to go. "You're my family." Lauren actually laughed. "Family? Honey, you don't know the meaning of the word. I am his family. I'm the one who raised your children." That's when Mason pulled up, back from work. 6'3", built like a linebacker. He took one look and said, "You're her." Then, "You're not my mother. My mother's right here." He kissed Lauren's cheek and walked past Vanessa without another glance. She stood there, stunned. He doesn't even know me. That's what happens when you walk out on a 6-year-old. I said, they forget you. I told her to leave, or I'd call the cops. She left, but it was far from over. Over the next 3 days, she showed up at Mason's construction site, Tessa's school, and even Caleb's college campus. Each of my kids, in their own way, told her exactly where to go. Mason called her an egg donor. Tessa told her, thank you for leaving. It was the best parenting decision you ever made. Caleb, the most polite of the bunch, told her, I'm indifferent. You trained me to live without you, and I got really good at it. Then came the kicker. She sued me for parental alienation and emotional distress. The judge took 10 minutes to throw it out. You abandoned your children, you have no standing. Case dismissed. We thought it was over, until she tried to contact Tessa's future in-laws, spinning stories about me being abusive and controlling. That's when I hired a private investigator. 2 days later, I had the full picture. Lance had drained her accounts and left her for someone younger. She'd been fired for theft, arrested for bad checks, evicted 3 times. She wasn't here for family. She was here because she was broke, homeless, and out of options. When I told the kids, Mason said, so basically, she traded us for Lance, and now she's shocked the trade expired. We laughed. Then we blocked her on everything, and that's where she stays, out of our lives, forever. We thought cutting her off completely would be the end of it. We were wrong. 2 weeks later, Tessa called me, her voice tight. Dad, she showed up at the church. I felt my stomach drop. Tessa's wedding was only a month away, and Vanessa had decided that was her new stage. She was in the parking lot, Tessa continued, waiting for Warren and his parents after premarital counseling, told them she was my real mother, and warned them they were marrying into a broken, dangerous family. Dad, she's insane. Lauren was next to me at the time. She didn't even look up from folding laundry when she said, time to go on offense. I called my lawyer. I wasn't going to just keep batting away her little ambushes. I wanted her boxed in legally so tight she couldn't pop up in our lives again. We filed for a harassment restraining order on behalf of all of us. Me, Lauren, and the kids. The PI's report became Exhibit A, abandonment. No contact for 22 years. Repeated unwanted approaches, disruption at workplaces and schools, false statements to third parties. The works. When the court date came, she tried to play the victim, wore a cheap black dress like she was at a funeral, told the judge she was just trying to rebuild her family. The judge leaned forward and said, you abandoned 3 minors for over 2 decades. You do not get to rebuild by ambushing them as adults. That's not reunification. That's harassment. Restraining order granted. 5 years. No contact. The kids threw a barbecue that weekend to celebrate. Mason grilled steaks. Tessa brought wine. Caleb played guitar in the backyard. At one point, Mason raised his glass. To the woman who actually showed up, Mom. He looked at Lauren, who laughed and shook her head, eyes shining. Tessa added, and to Dad, the man who never let go of the wheel, even when the ship was sinking. Caleb strummed a little chord and said, and to Vanessa, thanks for leaving. You gave us the life we were supposed to have. We all laughed. It wasn't bitterness anymore. It was closure.